2. Hi everybody, how we're doing? Okay. Right, let's have a look. Good morning, Enzo. I spent a lot of time last night setting up Ableton, but I must say it's a little hard going from Logic after a long while. But I love having the push to under the fingers again. I'm still on a live 11. A live 11's fine. Live 12's brilliant. What's going on, guys? We're going to do some looping, I think. But hit the like button. Yes, hit the like button, everybody. Hi, Brian. Brian saying hey to Enzo. Enzo saying hi to Brian. It's getting to be a great community, yeah. Everybody helping each other. I love it. Yo, Enzo, I also made the switch a few years ago. Logic Pro had some pretty good built-in instruments, but there's no going back. I'm in Houston, Texas. Hi, Sean. Logic does have great instruments built in. It does, mind you. It was a while since I used Logic, but I think now, having said that, Ableton has some amazing instruments in it, like Wavetable and stuff like that. Good morning, Sean. Texas, all right, okay. It's midnight, is it, Brian? All right. So, a little bit of a guitar thing actually. I had a picking breakthrough basically yesterday because there was something I was wondering about. That I can confirm. Thanks to having a magnet to attach to this guitar, right? It's like really weird that I'm expecting a guitar to happen and then a bass happens. And I'm like, what? It's like so disorientating. All right. That's it. Right. So what it was yesterday I did quite a bit of playing, and you know when you, and I've wondered about this, right? This is to do with picking angles, and I was just wondering like why certain licks I really, really struggle with, and one of them's this. And I've kind of been avoiding it in a way, but there's two things, and to be fair, I wouldn't really play this particular thing like this. However, it's a great exercise and it's nice to have that kind of facility here. But it's one of those nightmare picking situations, right, that nothing seems to fix, right? And it's this, right? Oh, I quite like that pickup. So that is awful, really bad. But not so bad today. I'll play it slow. So that's one of the scenarios. Another one would be so I'm still having to really think about it, right? And it's to do with just feeling where the hand position is. But what I'm talking about is picking angles. But I'm not just talking about downward and upward slanting, actually double escape motion. And I think double escape motion can get overlooked when we're just playing regular scale stuff. So I've recognized the feeling I get. It's this kind of there's like a feeling of the pick not engaging, disengagement. Like there's a lot of air between the strings. Missynchronization almost, not so much bouncing motion. And it's to do with basically that not using the double escape motion. So that's what I was getting on that. So rather than starting this, because a lot of the times it can be habit, especially if you're playing 3 notes per string, that you're starting on like an upstroke or a downstroke, and you're basically angling the pick on a downward slant because it feels more comfortable to have like your wrist rotated downwards. Especially if you're playing 6s. Not something I do a lot of these days. So if you're doing a lot of that, your wrist can get sort of like inflexible and stuck in that position, and it works great, and then you end up just doing like even note stuff. Strictly speaking, alternate picking here. So just to be wary of that. But that's starting to feel loads better. But as I say, I wouldn't actually play it like that. I'd probably play it like that. Hi, hippie. Those are the exact licks I grew up on, and still have issues with some of them. So what is the best solution? Right. My phone's across the room. 1 second. Right, I've just got to go upstairs. 2 seconds. Talk amongst yourselves. Right, I'm back with my phone. Right, so we need this. There we go. Need a guitar. Oh. It's the awkward bit. Getting this on. So yeah, I came in yesterday and it was really bugging me. Because I was like, nothing I'm doing here is really working. And it's the kind of thing that like I really avoid doing. Playing that particular lick. Right. But we will solve it. All right, there we go. Brilliant, eh? All right, so this is E major 9. All right, E major 9. So economy picking, itchy head. We're going to start with an upstroke. 4-finger is on the 11th. And that's our first bit. So because it's an even number of notes, it makes sense to start with the up, because then it's down, down, down. We're playing in groups of 4, so up, down, down, down. So the next note there's 2nd finger on the 9th, and then we've got 1st finger on the 8th fret on the 3rd string. And then we do the next grouping. So that's the first bit that's a nightmare, is because you've got a string skip. So it kind of makes sense to, instead of, you see, I naturally start like that, but the pick is trapped, isn't it? And this is where I'm getting this extra movement. Get back to that upstroke. So that's the first part of it. So the solution is to rotate. Now, there's never a perfect solution for this because you've still got a string to hop, okay? But we can limit it. See, that's pretty smooth there. Whoops. Right, I'll not go with a stupid speed. Right. So that's the next group of 4. Next group of 4 is alternate picking. There is no way around this. So we've got second finger on the 9th, first finger on the 8th, fourth finger on the 11th, and then we've got the second finger on the 9th. So you can only really do double escape motion. See? Because I have to escape either side of the string. That's why we're using double escape motion. So instead of the pick coming up this way or that way, we need to escape from both sides. So and then just continuing from there, we've got 1, 4. So we've got up, down, 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 and then up. So that's 4 on the 11th, 2 on 9, 1 on 7. Okay, let's go through it slowly. So instead of having that angle, because you can't, the problem is, you can't rotate fast enough. So that you have to do something, right? And that something is the double escape motion. So it's a little bit ropey, but it's getting there. It feels a lot better. I mean, there are other ways to play it. But yes. So that's one, and then the other one is like a pentatonic scale in groups of 4. And that's full of these alternate picking things. So you do an economy pick and then alternate picking. So it's a really good exercise. So I'm just picking like B minor pentatonic. And I'm going up, down, down, up. But the next group of 4, we're starting on the 4th finger, is 4, 1, 2, 1. But again, we need double escape motion, so it's no good doing that. Because I need to turn around. And actually, just by rotating the pick, you can feel the point where you get more traction. So that's feeling a lot better. Let's just check the chat on this. Oh man, that's let's get that out of the way. All right. Warhorse guitar. I've never heard them called that. Warhorse guitar, Steinberg board metal, Fisher modern influence pickups. Very good. Ibanez Prestige. Of a sorcerer. Oh yeah, Renzo, I remember you saying. So there you go. that is the latest findings on picking. Is not forgetting about the double escape motion, because it is super handy. Yeah, I'm watching and working. What are you doing, Tim? Sorry, you've missed it then, so you're going to have to go back. Sorry. I'm just saying double escape motion. Let's not forget about it. Yeah, so anyway, that's what I've got to say on the matter. And I can now undo this. That wasn't too bad setting that up. But dead handy. I mean, what I did yesterday, what I had to do is I had to put the magnet on, and then I spent ages looking in the camera, right, really zoomed in, with my hand absolutely massive on the screen, and I couldn't quite, like, playing slow, you can get like a sense of what maybe the problem is, but the only way really to get a sense is up to speed, and then you can't actually see properly what's going on. So I had to just disengage the camera from the computer, and then I just basically recorded it in slow motion on the phone, and then I could see the exact motion and where it was going wrong. It was absolutely brilliant doing that. And then all it was a question of is putting the camera back on the viewfinder, and then I was just able to try and experiment of just getting that angle right. It's brilliant. It's like total precision. And like when you can physically actually see what's wrong, and you know exactly like how you're going to fix the problem, imagine how much time that's going to save you. I mean, this is like, it's like one of those things, and it's another thing why I recommend going to a teacher rather than struggling on, because you know, life is short, and sometimes I think, like with guitarists, like our egos can kind of get in the way, you know. And music's a lifelong learning thing, isn't it? I was watching Rick Beato talking to Billy Strings, and Billy Strings was, you know, amazing country bluegrass player, just talking about the fact that he has like a teacher and how like that teacher's like stretching him into different areas. And I thought that was really interesting. Because you just assume that, like, you know, players on a certain level that you know are just like, oh, you know, they wouldn't, you know, they wouldn't mention having a guitar teacher. I would, because I understand that just easier to just go to somebody who knows. Yeah. Tell you what, I was like a footstool on one of my legs for some reason. I'm totally in that. All right, let's loop something. Right, what's set up? Right, you guys can have a jam if you got your guitar. Yeah, I'm working on what you were doing. Sorry, Tim, I'm trying to get it done. No, don't apologise. I have to get back and watch the double escape motion, yes. I sort of just don't have it down perfect. Always good to have a guitar teacher no matter what skills jamming. Oh yeah. Hi Pat, how you doing anyway? Good to see you on here. Oh look, no feelings has no limit, thank you. Look at that, praying hands. Fire. Legato then. There we go. Boom. Hey, that was a bit of a jam, that, wasn't it? Yeah. Not much like live looping, just like a massive epic jam. Let's catch up on the chat here. Sweet ballad. Yeah, I was wanting to do something a bit harder, but like when it's in the mornings, I find it difficult. I can't sleep. Oh dear. Hutch is making the perfect night up. Thank you. Really want McRocklin plugin, but already have several neural plugins I use along with my QC, but sounds like a very nice plugin. Yeah, this is my favourite one to date. It's really good. Pat's fully relaxed. Or it'd be cool to see a live. Yes, I've got plenty of stuff on that. Ah, oh, you're a monster player. Thank you. Sounds great. You're very sick looking. Sounded like an old Violet from Alien Love Sick. Right. Well, I'll tell you what. Vi wasn't like a major influence for me. Richie Kotzen was, but I'll tell you who my playing happens to be like, who I did give a bit of brief attention when I was very, very young. And some of you will know who I mean. You'll have to go and watch some old YouTube footage. Go West's and Level 42's guitarist, Alan Murphy. Now, you'll need to watch like the kind of him playing live. But all of that weird sort of like using a pentatonic scale. With wide intervals, kind of he did that. With that whammy bar sort of thing. So my whammy bar control's very similar. And maybe early Richie Kotzen. But I think, mind you saying that, I did like the, what was it? The first Vi solo album with Little Green Men on. I like that. And I remember learning Call It Sleep. But, yeah. And there's a lot of cool sort of techniques like Call It Sleep. It has like little descending sort of legato. That'll be the first time that I ever came across legato hammers only. Or, sorry, legato only. So, I'll tell you what, some of the licks I've been doing, because I keep, like, I'll just play and then I forget half of the stuff, but I managed to get a few things in of interest. So these are the things I've been working on and off, and they're all, like, really awkward. Oh, God, what's happened to that? Alright, that's one. So, things I've been doing. There's a, so we're in C sharp minor here. That's a pain in the arse. Hybrid picking thing, and like basically we're coming down C sharp minor pentatonic scale. And I would start with your hybrid because it's good practice for getting confident with just starting licks on a hybrid. Sometimes it's quite difficult. And what it is it's a hybrid, pull off, and then we've got a fourth here. And then a pull off. So it's a group of 6 there. And then you just repeat that down the scale, so... But like some of the fingering's a little bit awkward, so after this point, you've got that. And you've got to fit like 3 and 2 on one, basically, over the top of each other. Which sounds really good when you get it going. So that was one of them. Delicious sound, what a blast. Yeah. So, yeah, that's like one of them. And then there's this, right? This is like another really awkward one. Which I've had on my lives before. So you might be thinking, oh, well, that's just a suddenly groups of like 4 sort of thing. It is, but it's got the right hand is a little bit tricky because it requires a bit of timing. So it's a pick and a hammer from nowhere, and then you've got a hybrid after that. So I found that, I mean, probably everybody else will find it easy, but I found it really awkward doing that. And you have to go across the strings this way as well. So any looping questions? I'll tell you one question I've got for myself is, can I get onto a if I start this on a different layer, does it work? I want to know. I'm just going to pop some vaporwavy drums in. I'm still on low tempo mode here. Let's go. Some random bits of percussion in there. Kinda they've got to be in the distance though, haven't they? Okay. But the question is will the looper start me on a different section? Oh. Okay. Let's start now. No, we've got to clear it. Right, there must be a way around that. Oh, that's cool, isn't it? Bass higher up. That's like New Order. Needs loads of reverb on it though, doesn't it? Okay. Oh, you have to dip out. No worries, I'll see you. Just catching up on the chat here. From another great planet. Oh, you book it? No. How's the thumping sound on McRocklin? I don't know. Yeah, bass preset is on Nunchuck. Very New Order-esque, yeah. Or maybe Placebo. I mean, I have a bit of an indie rock edge, I must admit. Put the local's voice on it, and it's Placebo. You don't have limits, man. So creative. I want to get out of music. You never fight with the kind of feeling. Sometimes when I see Perfect Player want to get out of music, you never fight. Feeling, yeah. I think we're referring to sort of like when I, not that I'm perfect. It's all about being relaxed, isn't it? And as you guys know, I'm very much into the inner game of music, how we think, how we feel. That side of the processing is extremely important to me. And actually, I'm doing a bit of research into this as well. So I'm digging deeper into Interflow as well, and how it can be used, how we can get Interflow. So there's going to be a lot more stuff on that as well, but I can't say too much about it. But I'm actually working with somebody else on this as well, who's very qualified. So yeah, it's all about being relaxed, isn't it? It's all about quietening of the mind. It's all about biggest breakthrough for me was understanding that self one, the critical self. So when you make a mistake, and it's beating you up mid performance, that voice isn't you, that it's something else. It's a narrative that absolutely doesn't hold any value, and the only thing that is important is the music. So listening to the music is your anchor. Oh, there's Omar. Hi, Omar. How you doing? Get him up in lights. Yeah, I'm good. All's good. We're talking about flow, Omar, at the minute. I've just got onto that. Focusing one's mind. But yeah, I mean, that's why I like these lives so much, because it gets me there. It allows me to practice that dance between self one and self two. Self two being the person that you need to be, the state that you need to be in to deliver a good performance. Okay. And when we're performing, we don't really need any self one. Self one's really good for critical analysis, though. when you're playing something back or playing your performance, it helps more with the analytical side of things. So, well, you can call Self One the editor, really. What's the... Oh, hold on. The emojis have suddenly popped up. Oh, hi, Perplexity. It's a hard mind work. It's not a hard mind work. It's just basically knowing what the conditions are for flow. Being aware of like how you adjust your own skill to challenge ratio. Okay, that's an important one. An environment and habit. Yeah. These are all things. I mean, I was in a flow group for like 6 months practicing this, you know. And it is a constant practice, you know, because like one of the biggest things to get over, I know it sounds like a cliche, is ourselves. And I know guitarists, technology, we get more concerned with the outer game. It's all about buy this, get this, it'll solve problems. It's not you, get a new guitar, lower the action, get the intonation set up, you know. There's all these things that are like the outer game, which are important, but the most important thing, when you hear people saying, well, you know, really good guitarists, you can just give them any old crap guitar and it'll sound great. That's because the inner game is dialed in. So primarily, I think everybody's first priority as a musician is to work on that inner game. And flow is key. So if you don't know what flow is, look it up. Stephen Kotler, Rise of Superman, is a great book that will sort of introduce you to that and give you the sort of 17 flow triggers. Although you don't need all of them, you just need a few. So having like when you're getting in flow, you know, one thing that you need is you need a clear aim. So having a clear aim is a good one. And another one is you need an element of risk, okay? So me, this is why I do these lives, right? Is because there's an element of risk, isn't there? There's that pressure that people are going to see me completely mess up. Although now I'm not like bothered if I mess up, I'm fine about it because that's like life, isn't it? And I do a lot of these streams, so it's bound to at some point go absolutely terribly wrong, and it's how you come back from that. You know, you just become not bothered. You know, it's just a laugh. It's just human nature. It's not a big deal. But we do have that fear, and that's all Self One, isn't it? And that's what we need to sort of conquer, move out the way, put Self One somewhere where it's more useful, like when we're not in performance mode. And this actually applies to writing music as well. If you're writing music, because of the tools that we have, because of the studios that we use, because we've got access to things like FabFilter Pro Q that allows you to like just mix with your eyes and all that kind of thing and not use your ears, we've become extremely judgmental looking at waveforms and adjusting things and getting into the detail. And it doesn't matter. It's not the music, and it's not. We think that's like quality, and it's not. You know, quality comes from the music. Quality comes from the emotion of what you're expressing. That's far more interesting. You know, if we want an idea of perfect was a notion that I lived through when I started releasing music back in 2014, although coached. You know, the environment was I started doing I suppose it would be a form of EDM. I wouldn't say I was totally EDM, but when I first started, I was doing it was like what you would call it future house. You'd have future-based future house. I was more of a future house thing, so it was a bit like a throwback, but it was still that big stadium thing. And that went really, really well, but all you would hear around you on that scene is perfection. And one of the most horrendous things that when I think about it was this constant obsession, me included, everybody had doing things like mixing into a limiter. And what we ended up with was, because the whole point was to get your music loud as possible. When you listen back to that generation of music, it's like just horrendously loud and horrible. Yet we weren't listening to the music. We were listening to our egos. but it was really bad in electronic music, hippie. It was horrendous. We were buying limiters that were just specially designed to be the loudest limiters. I remember, Limitless. No, it wasn't Limitless. I had another one, Loud and Clear, something like that. This ridiculous limiter. So yeah, you wanted to crush all the dynamics out of it. It was horrendous. And then these really hard synths and stuff, and it was like, yeah, it was, but wasn't all bad. When I look back at it, I think, God, that's awful. Ruined loads of music doing that. But yes, expressing our musical ideas is far more important. Which is why I like doing this. So yeah, I'm rambling now, but flow is really important. So having that accountability, having people there, having consequences, really good. People who've got flow the most dialed in are extreme sports athletes. They absolutely live for that. High consequences. I mean, for them means death if they get it wrong, or potential permanent injury, being disabled, all of that. If it goes wrong, and that, they are the biggest flow junkies out there. But as musicians, we can enjoy it as well by clearly having consequences in a performance, by having a clear aim and an objective. So today, studio session, doing some live looping, I knew that I was doing that. That was the aim, was to do that. So I knew there would be some sort of kind of performance around that. And again, playing there in flow. But it doesn't mean that I'm, instantly flow. I'm good at getting into flow. But there's always that battle, and there's always that bit of doubt when you first start playing, and then just finding your way into the music, and then just everything just disappears, and then it just becomes that one thing. So I have a plan in like April. I mean, there's a couple of things that I want to do. I'm gonna set up Patreon so people can support the channel on Patreon. I'm not really gonna do a members thing here where, I mean, there could be a members thing, but I'm not doing anything where you would basically pay for a membership to get to videos and then put everything behind a paywall. Everything on this channel, as far as I can see, is just going to be free. And then if you want to pay for it, I think like going to Patreon is probably the best idea. So that, like on Patreon, it'll just be this thing, I don't know, $4 a month or something. If you want to support the channel, then basically that'll be hard. And then there'll be other things. I mean, I'll put like the one-to-one coaching on, one-to-one guitar lessons. Coaching group will be on there. There's like other things you can join. But there'll also be a website, like landing page to sign into as well. So I'll start mailing people with things and offers and stuff. But essentially, I think I'm thinking about the way I'm going to run this, right? And it's very vague, is we'll have like different things happening on different days, thereabouts. So every week there'll be like a 1 week kind of mission that will go on. So it may be that, I might say, look, we're all going to practice flow, or we're going to dial in a minimum viable commitment. So, and I'll talk to you about minimum viable commitment, and everybody who wants to join in with that can tell me what their minimum viable commitment is. Okay, and then I'll hold you accountable, and I'll check in on you and call you out and say, how did it go? And if it doesn't go well, I can coach on here, and then we can kind of make the corrections, adjustments, and then run it again. So there'll be kind of stuff like that. There'll be a mission where I'll encourage everybody to do 5 minutes meditation. Of course, I'll be doing these as well. So, it's going to be good. There'll be music production. So I'm going to take you through various music production inspirational tools for creativity that I have. And also I'll be rebranding the machine so it'll have different terminology, because I really like sort of Rick Rubin's book the art of creativity. And I think I would like to reference that, because that process is very similar to the process I was shown by Mike Monday with the what I call the automatic music machine. He just calls it the machine. So I'll be sharing the machine with you, and everybody will get, when you sign up, you'll all get the free like template for the machine. So for example, if I'm talking about splurging, you'll all be able to splurge, and you'll all be able to keep your music in the splurge column. When I'm talking about discovery, you'll be able to do discovery sessions. Now, we'll be going through that machine and that process, but you will not get all of the techniques and tools that I get. You're only going to get sort of the explanation at the time. Okay, so there'll not be like the progression that you would get in a group on the one-to-one. But for a free thing, absolutely brilliant. So everybody will get like a machine that wants it, and you'll be able to work into that, which will be really good. Obviously, there'll be the guitar lesson sort of thing going on there, and there will be, I know people are, because there's the obsession with quality and stuff like that, I will go into mixing stuff, okay, which will be part of doing the machine thing when we get to anybody who's getting to release. We can talk about mixing and approaching to mixes and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot going on and a lot to organise. I don't want the framework to be too rigid, but basically the way it'll work is you'll have 1 week where we look at one thing, and then there'll be something that we do for a whole month. Okay, so for example, it might be for the 1 week thing, we'll have like shorter stuff where it'll be the minimum viable commitment. So dialing in a practice time, dialing in a time when you can make your music. But then we'll have a month overarching that. So one of the first things you'll do is for that month, everybody will be working on their environment. So say for this month, we're going to look at environment, and I'll be checking in on that for a month every week, and that'll be organising the studio, getting everything in the right place, getting set up and prepared. Because the way that I see this working is it's going to be, if you think of it like a free course that you're going to do for a year, so there'll be like basically a year's worth of this content every month, plus like these 1 week missions kind of running. That's how it'll work. Something like that. So the missions will be like, as I say, creative, like kind of set up things that fall under the category of conditions for success. Okay, so to be more explicit about it, sorry, I'm rambling. Is we'll have a month doing habits, we'll have a month doing environment, we'll have a month on possibly 2 months on insight and analysis. It'll be a really important one. There'll be a month on fear. There'll be a month on boredom. There'll be a month of skills, because you've got to have skills. There'll be a month on community. So there's about like 8 things there that you would do, or in a month on focus, on how to focus. So there's about 8 things, and then I'll fill that up with a month of flow, and then there'll be other things, so I'll work it out. So that's what you'll be working on, and everybody will know, yeah, you'll have all these new skills and capabilities and cool stuff as long as you follow about it. The other thing is, with the nature of the way that I'm doing it, you don't need to, because it's just going to rotate round, you don't need to be at the beginning. Okay, you could just come in halfway through or at whatever point, and then just keep with it and let the thing rotate round to cover everything. So it's not like, oh, I missed the first week, I'm not going to bother, I'll wait a year. The way it's designed is you can jump in at any point. The other thing that may be a thing as well is that I will do, providing people turn up to it, is that I could potentially do, for the people who support the channel, I will do a monthly call on Zoom, providing you turn up for it. But I think in terms of like what it'll be like $4, I reckon, on Patreon, I am going to offer like the best possible music education that you could want for free, It's going to have all the good stuff in this, and it will be free. But I'm expecting that like people will support it. But if you don't, it's perfectly fine to come along, because I know even $4 can be, maybe $4 can even be too much for some people. So that's fine. But all of the stuff where you need, there'll be parts of this year where some people would want extra support and want to go deeper into some of the stuff that we cover. So obviously the one-to-one coaching is still there. And then the other thing is there's still the coaching groups to join as well if you really want to get deep into it. There's that. So it's going to be really good. I'm quite excited about it. I'm kind of working it out. So there you go. So I hope people are interested in that. What's this? Oh, I don't need that. Okay. All right, let's go back in the chat. There we go. Beautifully said. Loudness wars. Killing dynamics. My grandfather was an orchestral musician for many years, and he never passed on this type of knowledge about what you said to me. I started playing at 19, and he was already about to leave. Oh. So my musical genetics apparently come from my my grand's brother. He fought in the First World War. He was a sapper, and he was part of the DLI, which were actually miners. And he wrote memoirs. It's really interesting, his stuff. He ended up an officer, and he was a major colonel in the second half. But what actually happened to him is he ran across a field, no man's land, and he got shot in the leg by a sniper, and it completely removed the back of his leg. And then he was in hospital for I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 years. He was in ages. He was completely out of action. But he was a really good, accomplished pianist, and he ended up learning guitar and banjo, and he was a transcriber for Guitar and Banjo magazine for many years. But I knew him, and he was really wacky and cool, and pretty awesome on piano. I'm late. Don't worry, Josh. We're here. I'm just talking about future plans in April. Anyway, we're running played oboe. Anyway, I think we're pretty much done for this morning. I'm not sure what's happening tomorrow morning. I think I might have a session on tomorrow. So I'm not sure if I'm live or not, but I'll be putting the live up tonight if I am. And thank you everybody for turning up, and it's been great, and and we'll do this again. So I'll definitely be back Thursday and Friday. Not sure what's happening tomorrow. I'll have to check the diary. I've got a feeling that something is kind of happening in the morning. And we'll do some more of this, all right? All right, I'll see you later. Bye.